They live in a disgusting world of their own, lawless. But I mean, I have seen a woman come out of here with a newborn baby in her hands. I let everybody know that I could, and they had welfare people come out, but they couldn't find her. I've seen 13-year-old kids playing with cats over here. I asked one of them if there's something I could do to help her. She told me she was addicted to drugs, and she goes into the camp to get away.
It's the First Amendment, Mayor.
It really is. Yep.
Screw decorum. The Supreme Court in New York Times versus Sullivan says that. You have to put up with it because you are elected by us.
I am all for getting help for the people that actually need it. You know, there is mental illness going on out here. How we go about it, I don't know. That's up to the elected city officials. But they also told us that camp was going to be there for 90 days, and it's almost been 3 years. So they're doing nothing to help this community, and all it is making small businesses want to go other places.
Okay, you go to that back window there. 3 different times I recorded couples on a dirty mattress out there shooting up heroin with their boxes of drugs and their filth and their disgust. It'd turn your stomach. I'm desensitized to it. You couldn't shock me with the story anymore.
I mean, just how do you even attract customers at this point?
You don't.
You can't.
Hey guys, Katie Daviscourt reporting for Rebel News here on location today in Longview, Washington, where small businesses and neighboring communities are going to war with the city over what they describe as a terrorist homeless encampment located on Alabama Street. Dead bodies, Molotov cocktails, gang rapes, illegal firearms, prostitution, and minors using illegal drugs are only a small list of criminal activity happening in the Alabama encampment on a nearly daily basis. I spoke with Matt's Custom Meats and Matheson Gas, who told me that the encampment is destroying their livelihoods and other small businesses in the area. And residents in the nearby Highland Park community told me that they were forced to create a neighborhood patrol and warned that it is possible they will have to take up vigilantism in order to keep their community safe, since police reform legislation has significantly tied the hands of law enforcement and the city refuses to help. While this is normal to see in progressive cities like Seattle and San Francisco, Longview, Washington is a small Republican town a few hours south of Seattle, and it begs the question of whether or not Seattle's failed progressive policies are beginning to take hold of the state. If you'd like to help the small businesses and residents that live near the Alabama encampment, please go to noencampments.com and sign the petition. If we get enough signatures, we will hand deliver it to City Council. So tell us about your business.
This is Matt's Custom Meats, and I've been in business for about 17 years now. Started off by doing farm slaughtering, and with a lot of the local farm slaughtering outfits going out of business, mom and pop shops, kids didn't want to take it over. Our business just did nothing but increase over the years.
You attended a recent city council meeting and expressed concerns about a nearby homeless encampment bringing in crime and bringing in safety conditions that are affecting your staff and customers. And as a result, a radical leftist attempted to launch a boycott against your business. What's the story behind this?
I said a couple of things to one of the Longview City Council members that didn't like what I had to hear. And from there, it just kind of fed the crowd. I am all for getting help for the people that actually need it. You know, there is mental illness going on out here. How we go about it, I don't know. That's up to the elected city officials. But they also told us that camp was going to be there for 90 days, and it's almost been 3 years. So they're doing nothing to help this community, and all it is making small businesses want to go other places. This is a small community. I know a lot of these business owners, and they're like, hey, we'd move, can't afford it. We have Matheson Gas down here that is considering shutting the branch down and going elsewhere. All
right, guys, so Matt and Tanner are taking me to Matheson's Gas Company, a business that has been absolutely desecrated by this homeless encampment. So how has this homeless encampment affected the business?
We've lost a lot of business, a lot of revenue. Customers won't come in here because they're too scared of getting shanked or attacked by some drug-crazed freak, and there's nothing we can do about it.
And the city council isn't helping?
No, not at all. We haven't got any support. We've had 3 of the council members come here personally and experience exactly what we're going through and shock and awe treatment, and they don't care. It's a shame that law enforcement are being withheld from doing the duties they want to do. You know, these guys have grown their lives wanting to be heroes and shields to their families and the neighbors in the neighborhoods, and they're losing their respect and the dignity from the local residents here, and they think it's the police not doing their job, and it's not them. It's someone else telling them to work on other projects and just disregard this basic terrorism that's going on within our city.
Right. Tell us some of the stories.
Oh,
what has happened to your business?
I've seen prostitution. I've seen heroin usage right outside the window. We've had our boss almost attacked by machetes. We've been shot at by pellet rifles while we were out in the parking lot in meetings. We've had explosive cylinders stolen from our yard. In fact, just this morning, somebody cut our fence and stole some more of our cylinders, so we're waiting for the fence to get repaired.
How many times? 11th time?
This is the 11th time, yeah.
The 11th time.
This will be
Wow.
11 cut-ins. They've
and you have to fund it. You have to pay for
we're paying for all of our own repairs. The city isn't calling us and saying, hey, we're so sorry that you're going through this horrible thing that we put you through.
Truly.
I've watched the meetings. I've attended everything. I've seen the look in her face when she hits her timer and moves to the next person with just complete disregard. Heartless woman.
Who is she?
Mary Ann, I don't know who she is. I don't want to know her. I've seen enough of her that she just makes me sick. So
How did she get elected?
I don't know. That's another question.
It's a really good question.
Right,
Yeah.
because Longview, Washington, usually you see stuff like this happening in Seattle. It's
Yeah.
incredible that this is happening in the small town of Longview, Washington, which usually politically leans more conservative.
Yeah.
So how did this homeless encampment even get here in the first place?
I have no idea. You've got yourself a mob of gangster homeless people or drug addicts. I mean, there are a few good ones in there, and I've seen a couple of them, talk to them. So, I mean, there's a few. But the whole concept of a camp, like I posted on the news the other day, the Cowles County News, whoever thought of using a campsite to train someone to be back in civilization with other people, they fell out of the stupid tree and hit every branch on the way down.
How much has crime increased?
150%.
150%, yeah.
And I know this because of the local law enforcement, the LVPD actually told me, not just one person, but multiple people, at least 150% in this area. And especially with having the Highlands area right by us, it's actually putting a lot of stress on the Highland community. Because they're coming out of the camp and just funneling into the Highland community at night, stealing everything they can get their hands on.
Wow.
It's not even what makes me sick, and he knows more than anyone how many parents are dropping off their underage kids to go into this camp.
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
We got 3 or 4 nice vehicles a day dropping their kids off, and I can hear them through the door telling them, I don't want you to go in there. I really wish you wouldn't go in there. I love you so much. Here's some food and some money, Be careful in there. And
Get their drug
they send their kids back off into the camp. I got video footage of 13-year-olds all the way up to 25 that 80% of the backflow on the back into that camp is just drug traffic. It's not actual residents. They live in a disgusting world of their own, lawless. But, I mean, I have seen a woman come out of here with a newborn baby in her hands. I let everybody know that I could, and they had welfare people come out, but they couldn't find her. I've seen 13-year-old kids playing with cats over here. I asked one of them if there's something I could do to help her. She told me she was addicted to drugs, and she goes into the camp to get away. And I was like, how old are you? She told me she was 13 years old.
Oh my gosh.
13 years old looking for kittens in a homeless camp that's full of needles and junkies.
Where'd they come from? Who are these
Everywhere.
people?
They come from Seattle. They come from Portland. One guy, I overheard him out in the bushes shooting up with his girlfriend here that the drugs were easier to get here than they were in Seattle.
Really?
They came all the way here to find the land of opportunity for drug use. Guy came walking through the parking lot aggravated. He was looking in our windows real mean at us, and I was going to go tell him to get out of the property. And my boss said he looked a little upset, a little angry, so just try to avoid him. And he came through the parking lot and was walking around over here and then proceeded to head towards the homeless camp over here where I guess he was picked up and arrested for lighter in hand, like a Molotov cocktail set up in bottles of gas, and God knows what he was about to do. And I'm sitting on enough explosives back here to level the city of Longview, so...
Wow, yes, you're right. This is a gas company.
Yeah. We've had a naked guy here with his pants at his ankles banging up against our glass. I had a girl outside this window who was just about ready to have sex with 3 guys at the same time. While she's taking her clothes off, they're handing her a crack pipe to take a hit so she doesn't have to stop undressing. So I ran out there and told him, you're not going to gangbang this girl in front of me. Get the hell out of here. Okay, you go to that back window there. 3 different times I recorded couples on a dirty mattress out there shooting up heroin with their boxes of drugs and their filth and their disgust. it'd turn your stomach. I'm desensitized to it. You couldn't shock me with the story anymore.
I mean, just how do you even attract customers at this point?
You don't.
You can't.
You don't. You beg them to do their business from far. I caught a guy beating his dog right outside the window there the other day and had to yell at him and tell him that, quit beating your dog or I'm going to come out there. And he didn't care. He was willing to scrap over this dog. He wanted to smack it around. Little tiny Pomeranian just beating the crap out of it. No reason at all. Just out of his mind.
So animal abuse, sex crimes.
Oh, yeah. Horrible sex crimes. I had a guy out here that looked like Captain Jack Sparrow, filthy crackhead, had a stick bent over, pants down at his ankles, and he was shoving that stick up his right in front of me. Yeah. You should have saw the look on the cop's face when they showed up.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm not kidding you. I could tell you stories that turn your stomach.
Oh, I believe you.
Yeah, I'm done with it. I'm over it. City needs to be accountable now.
Masturbating. We've seen it all.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Louis Matheson thinking about closing this branch.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. They're going to pull out $1 million a year tax revenue job business here. We're just going to uproot and leave. I mean, we're not going to pay our tax dollars so that we can watch them go into that camp.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, I mean, what are you supposed to do? Sit here and wait for the next tragedy to happen? For someone to get stabbed or killed?
Do you guys know the statistics of them offering shelter and then turning it down?
I don't.
There is a whole page. It was brought up at the Longview City Council, one of them, that they have a whole page of fine print of help programs, and they decide that they do not want to be a part of it. So what they're doing is they're living here. So they are actually choosing this life when they have, I believe it's like 35 other different options to get clean, to get healthy, to get sober, and they refuse to do it. This should be illegal. What they're doing should actually be illegal. And I am sure somewhere that they are breaking some laws and guidelines of their own community. And to be reelected is really goofy. So what needs to happen is we need to start from the ground and start electing in smaller, the guys lower on the totem pole, like I don't even know, like school boards. You got to start there, and then from there you just build it up. Because if a guy that wants to fix this problem, he goes straight to the top. He says he can take it over. He's overpowered by so many other people. So you have to start at the bottom, and then you guys have to get up and vote, because it's a very, very small turnout for these public elections. And so I think that needs to change, and I think this is actually going to help get us steered in the right direction.
Are you guys going to run?
I can't.
Have you considered?
I don't live inside city limits.
We don't live in city limits.
Gotcha.
We have to live inside city limits.
And and one thing that I think is really important that we bring up, because we're sitting here bashing the city council, there is actually one city council member,
Spencer
Boudreau.
Spencer Boudreau.
He tries
the only one
very
that has
hard.
our back.
He listens to us. He tries, but he's the only one, so he's outnumbered. He cannot do anything that he wants to do. He's the only one that's trying to do everything that he said he would do.
He's completely outnumbered.
And he just gets voted down on everything.
Yeah.
He's the only one.
So interesting.
He's got more initiative, more hope, more care for this place than anybody else
He's
has
just
ever had.
young.
So.
What is he, 21 years
Yeah,
old?
yeah.
I mean, he is,
whoever would have thought.
pouring his heart and soul into
and
this.
he makes way
Wow.
more sense than the career politicians.
Yeah.
Right.
Which is sad.
Over the past few months, the community has shown up in force to city council meetings to discuss how the encampment is destroying their lives. But council doesn't seem to care, and the concerns continue to fall on deaf ears. During the latest meeting, city council proposed to build new tiny home villages throughout the city to house the homeless and put new locations up for a vote. Infuriated by the proposal, residents and business owners went one by one and testified against the new encampments. While council ultimately decided not to build villages in the downtown corridor, they voted to keep the encampment on Alabama Street, enraging the community.
Firstly, with the high population of vagrants and drug use has come the rise in theft, vandalism, and property damage. We have lost, in the last year alone, over $20,000.
It's the First Amendment, Mayor.
It really is.
Screw decorum. The Supreme Court in New York Times versus Sullivan says that. You have to put up with it because you are elected by us.
Yes, you are.
Everyone that has come up to this microphone has talked about this specific motion, and you sit there and you dare to say that they are not on subject. They're talking about how the downtown area affects their lives. Wake up and pay attention.
I'm the one that has the gavel, and I've asked you to please go off.
Church, Mary.
I'm giving the person that just said that a warning, and our captain can remove you if I ask him to.
Not according to criminal trespass law defenses.
Putting the camp in downtown would be a grave mistake because we have business owners, everyone built their livelihoods down there, and we already have crime, we already have fighting. Like, it's already a bad situation with the camp where it's at.
There was no question asked about this. This was just boom, dropped. You need to drop all the locations. You know what? My husband's had to clean up fecal matter. He works on 11th Avenue.
Excuse me, you are out of order. And if you cannot keep your voice quiet, you're going to be removed.
Are you talking to me like I'm a child right
I
now?
am.
You are.
I'm asking
I'm a
you to
tax-paying citizen. You're talking to me like
You
a
have
child.
been warned, and I am ready to ask if our captain will remove you. Are you prepared for that?
I'm sitting here waiting with everyone
Will you please remove Ms. Adair? Thank you, thank you. Go ahead, please come forward.
And I just want to say that I am from Seattle. I've already seen this with my own eyes. I moved here to get away from Seattle, to get away from that. You guys will be making a huge, huge mistake if you do this. Businesses will close down. The homeless doesn't care. Like they say, there's feces everywhere. There's food being thrown everywhere. They come into your business. We do. And it has happened to Halo, actually, since I've been here. So we have called the police, and the police can't do anything, unfortunately. So I have to protect all the girls in the salon and all the customers in the salon. And it's very sad. You'd be making a huge, huge mistake.
And there's a lot of anger here. I think a lot of it stems because we've suffered for 3 years with this camp. I can't even tell you the toll it's taken on the neighborhood. And it isn't just the camp. Every dead-end alley has a camp in it now. The day it got posted, we had over 17 people come through our, and it caught them trespassing on my neighbors. They're defecating everywhere. That camp doesn't belong there. We held it for 3 years. We have armed groups out at night now to keep our neighborhood safe. We have no police protection. We have nothing. Do your damn jobs and save your community. And I'm sorry, went on a tour of that camp in 26. Anyone that has voted for that should be ashamed of themselves. That's not even dereliction of duty. That's crimes against humanity, what you've done out there.
Yeah.
There was kids in there. People were running to us, begging to be let out of there. We've seen guys fighting because who was a better sexual predator? It needs to end. Get it out of our neighborhood now.
I have had people beating on my door in the middle of the night, and I have called the police. No one showed up. There was a fire 2 houses down that night. There's emergency responders there, but they won't respond when something like that happens in the Highlands. So I want you to think about that, Ms. Mayor, because I know that you live in a nice neighborhood.
I want to know why we have, in the poorest section of town, in the highest crime rate, we've been saddled with all this stuff. For 3 years it's been going on. We're done. It don't go downtown. It don't go in neighborhoods. The dump's a great idea. The old dump, there's all kinds of stuff down there. Put it there. They're not that far from Walmart. They're not that far from everything's in town they can reach. But they're not in a community.
You know, I think 4 times you threatened the people to have them removed for clapping, I believe. And then you actually escorted a lady out. So I think it's just a lot of failure here tonight. Thank you.
We are authorized 61 officers at the department.
I'm sorry, sir.
We're authorized 61 officers at the department.
61?
61.
Okay, thanks.
As of September 1st, we filled that 61st position.
Okay.
However, that does not mean that we are fully functional with 61 officers. We have several that are in the academy, several that are in a field training program right now. So it'll be a few months before all those people are fully functional.
How many do you need? Well, is 61 the number you need? That's what you were authorized. What is the number you actually need?
I'm not prepared to answer that.
What I'm saying is you're about to make a decision based on a temporary measure that you don't know how long that temporary measure should be. So I'm trying to ascertain for your benefit so you know
how much time you're going to have to invest in a private security company, and of course, hopefully we know that cost. So do you know the cost of that?
I know
we're about
the
to vote on tonight?
time. I know the time would be until November 1st.
At what cost?
And I'm not certain of the cost. That would be something staff would come up with.
Has anybody already looked into this?
This is a fresh amendment on the proposal, so staff has not, that is not.
Then how can you vote on it tonight if we don't have all the data?
That happens often, sir.
That's frightening.
We will.
It really is.
That's why we have our very capable staff.
So the city council just voted against removing the Alabama encampment. How did that make you feel?
It makes me very sad and angry. We have fought them tooth and nail, and it's like they don't realize the suffering they've created, not just in our neighborhood and for our businesses, but for the people they're trying to help.
I'm infuriated. I mean, absolutely infuriated. We've been dealing with it for, like he said, over 3 years now. And obviously the city council don't have it the homeless in their area. The one city council member that does stick up for us, they are deciding to split the camp is what they're trying to do and put it 1 block away from his house. You know, the problem with it is this is a low-income, high-crime rate area I live in. The place they're trying to split it and put the other half in is a low-income, high-crime rate area also. It's time to get them out of our neighborhoods. I mean, put them somewhere else that it's not going to affect people.
All right, so it's currently midnight and city council voted against removing the encampment from Alabama. You know, constituents went up and spoke for roughly 4 hours, gave their own personal testimony about how this encampment is impacting them. And they did not listen to their constituents. A lot of them walked out of the room, left furious. So I guess we're going to be seeing what their next move is and if they're going to continue to fight or if they are going to decide to pick up their businesses and leave the area. If you'd like to help the residents and nearby small businesses located next to Alabama encampment, please go to noencampments.com and sign the petition. If we get enough signatures, we will hand deliver it to City Council. And if you enjoyed our coverage of today's events, please go to rebelnewsusa.com, support independent journalism. We are funded by the people. We don't take a dime from the government, and we appreciate all of your support. Again, that is rebelnewsusa.com. Thank you guys.